Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What is up, Nickel City Mafia? Welcome to Sunday Night Bills Talk. I am back, Jake. It's good to be back. I missed you all week. I want to say thank you to you and Timmy for holding down the fort. I want to say thank you to Brett and Sean for doing their thing. And, of course, all the folks on the AFC East Summit. And wouldn't be right if I forgot to say the Sabres Edge going off last week as well for their first show. But it's good to be back, man. I am on a snap count like Von Miller. So we're going to get through this. I can't be sitting too long tonight, but we're going to get through this. We're going to talk all about it. Jake, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, Mike. Hopefully you have a little bit better performance than what Von Miller had tonight or today, this morning. Didn't really do a whole lot out there, but it was good to see him back on the field, of course. And great to see you back. This is awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, man. It's, out here on the West Coast, we had to get up. The alarm went off at 6 a.m. I was ready to go. I think I woke up even earlier because, as a fan, it's hard to sleep the night before. I mean, you feel like you're a player. It's hard to sleep. You're anxious, especially when it's 6 o'clock in the morning. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss that alarm. So your body kind of wakes you up multiple times. So I was ready to go. I actually said, I told Jonah, I didn't even wake Jonah up, but he heard the TV going. And my son, like a trooper, woke up and joined his dad. He says, let's go, Buffalo. So we got into it. He sat with me the whole game, which I always appreciate. So let's talk a little bit about it. Jake, let's get into this, all right? Since I am on a snap count. First of all, let's talk about the injuries because, my goodness, there were two big losses. Not only did we lose score-wise, but we lost on the injury side, and we're talking big injuries. So first, Daquan Jones, right? He's got some type of pec injury, not looking good, according to McDermott. If it's a tear, he's done for the season. If it's not a tear, it's weeks. But we won't know until they have that MRI, I think tomorrow or whatever, they take images. And then Milano, pretty much done for the season. Fractured leg, they think torn ACL. Again, it's everything I'm hearing is he's gone for the season as well. So there's two huge losses, Jake, right off the bat there, and it just spiraled downhill from there because that was early on. We lost DJ first, then we lost Milano. People were getting dinged up all day, and we had Taron Johnson. My God, when he went down, I thought we were, oh my God, we're going to lose this guy too? He's a playmaker. Deion Dawkins went down for a little bit. Jonathan Kingsley went down for a little bit. He seemed, they both came back in. Kingsley seemed to get dinged up again later in the game, but he stayed most of the game. And let's see, who else am I missing here? Von. So Von Miller showed up. Great to see him back. Was excited to see that. I figured he was on a snap count. And what was interesting, though, is did they use that snap count too much too early? Because in the fourth quarter, when they show AJ Epinesa on the sidelines gasping for air with the oxygen, there's Von with his hat on. He's done for the day. So let me throw it to you, man. First of all, talk to me about these injuries. Where do we go from here? Is Bean making a move? Is he calling Kirksey and saying, hey, man, you're going to get the biggest deal. I'm going to offer you a lot more money than we did the first time. Are you ready to come out of retirement? But let me throw it to you. Where do we go from here, man?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question, Mike. I think that's the question everyone has on their minds right now. I mean, Dorian Williams got in there a little bit today. And listen, I'm a Dorian Williams truther, but was a little lost out there. There were a couple plays where, he just failed to make a tackle. And, it was a good learning experience for him, of course. It's his first time being just pushed right into the starting lineup like that. Has played very well on special teams up to this point. But, being able to replace Matt Milano, first off, you got to live up to that standard, which no one can really live up to. Secondly, nothing seemed to go our way today. It just really, I've never seen so many flags and so many injuries combined in a single NFL game. And that being for one team too. I mean, it was just insane. I know Taron Johnson after the game came out and talked about saying, basically saying, you got to outlaw the turf. You got to get rid of it because it's just too much. Like we've seen a string of injuries happen throughout this year and previous seasons. And it's been a very big talking point from not just him, but a ton of players around the league, and nothing's being done about it. So I don't know what the solution is moving forward. I guess it probably would be to just have every stadium be natural grass, but it sucks because you feel like the injury bug always seems to hit the Bills a little bit harder, and when it rains, it pours, man. Like, we lose Trey White last week to an Achilles injury. This week, we lose Matt Milano. God knows how long that rehab's going to take. I mean, not only does he have a fractured leg, but a potential torn ACL too. So he's going to have to first rehab that fractured leg and then somehow repair that tendon as well. I mean, I don't even know what the protocol is for that. So just awful, awful news. And for a guy that was really playing like a defensive, I'm not going to say he was playing as defensive player of the year, but definitely the best defensive player on the Bills team. Absolutely sucks to lose a guy like that. So yeah, I think we all feel it in our hearts right now. We're pretty devastated about it. Christian Kirksey, certainly that's a name. He retired before the season started. Just said that he didn't really have the passion to play anymore. I don't know. I'm not sure if there was maybe a deal negotiated, like, hey, if we get injuries, maybe you come back. I know the Bills went out and got AJ Klein. I don't actually know if he's still on the roster technically. I think he is. Actually, I don't even see him on the roster, so never mind. Not even on the practice. Oh no, he's on the practice squad. Okay. So AJ Klein would be a reasonable name to come up. But yeah, it's awful. It's awful. There's really not a whole lot of positives to take away in terms of the injuries. But I will say this on the spin side of things, I think being as depleted as the defense was, the D-line absolutely balled out today. We saw a lot of great work from Eddie Oliver again, Leonard Floyd registering 2 sacks, and AJ Epinesa playing the game of his life. But as you mentioned, Vaughn was on a snap count today, and AJ Epinesa has to go out of the game to get oxygen. And we got freaking Kendall Vickers, our defensive tackle, one of our backup defensive tackles, playing defensive end for us. I mean, it's just something's got to happen there. So, especially, with multiple DNs going out of the game, just brutal.
Yeah. We're left with what next man up, right? Next man up, or if Bean's got to be making some calls. And again, I'd be curious. Like, I definitely think they'd call Kirksey. Like, man, we signed him for a little over $1 million. Would $5 million bring you back? $6 million?
Yeah, right.
All of a sudden, I don't know about you, Jake, but some big numbers thrown at me. I'm rejuvenated. I'm ready to play some football again. But let me say hi to the folks in the channel, and because I know they're feeling it as well. And I appreciate you guys coming out and supporting us. We got Timmy Corks out there. Good to see Timmy saying, not the results we wanted, but it is a game to learn from. We got Sank7 out there. Hope I'm saying your name right. I hope we can learn from these challenges to become more complete team at the end of the year, but still, injuries hurt so much. They truly do. And then we got Alpha Rob, who's a sports doctor science guy. He should be fired. Never probably played before. Is this the one?
I said the same thing when I was watching the game, Alpha Rob. I'm like, this entire strength and conditioning staff needs to be canned right now. This is unacceptable. But I mean, you can only put so much blame on them. But yeah, it's crazy how many guys have gone down with these ligament injuries. And is it just the turf, or is it how they're training, or what is it? It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I also, Alpha Rob said, sometimes it's good old-fashioned common sense and should have left on Monday.
Yeah.
I do agree. As our title says, the Bills look sleepy. They look jet-lagged. Yeah. I mean, they got there on Friday. And, I mean, I'm not a big traveler, but I have traveled. And I do know it takes more than a couple days for me to adjust. I don't know about you, Jake, how you are when you travel. But it definitely, the jet lag was in full effect. Why did you wait till go out Friday? Big question for me. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I 100% agree. I was kind of curious about that too. Kind of waiting for an update too from like the Bills Instagram account, because they usually post stuff like that, guys getting on the plane and stuff like that. And I see it's late in the week, and I'm like, this is kind of interesting. Not only is it 5 hours ahead of Eastern time, but you're leaving this late in the week. It just didn't really add up to me. And I know Josh Allen had actually come out and said he was exhausted, and you can only use that excuse as much as the next guy, but I'm sure it still played a little piece in it. Even so, they still got to show up. At the end of the day, they're professionals. They still got to show up. So you can only use that excuse to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It is an excuse, but I think it's a valid excuse, because you get robbed of a home game. You have to travel to another country where a team's already been there. They've been there already a week. I mean, for me,
Right.
if you're going to have a game over there, have both teams have to travel. Have both teams. Then there's no
That's a
debate
valid point.
whatsoever. So basically, let me say this. The Mafia did show up. You know, as much as we felt the pain, I felt the pain for all the people that went there to support this team. I mean, they showed up, Jake. They paid a lot of money to fly out there, to get out there and hang with Andre Reed and just that stadium. They had the sounds of what they played in Buffalo. The fans were loud. But in the end, when you have to travel for a home game and the other team doesn't, there's something wrong there, Jake.
Yeah, I am all for just banning the London series. I know it'll never happen, but I'm all for them just getting rid of that altogether. Not only does it rob us of a home game here in Buffalo, but I mean it does for all these teams. And Jags, they lose 2 games, you know? I mean they lose an away game and a home game, but still. To me, I can't stand it. It's like, hey, keep the NFL here in the US. Listen, they don't need any more recognition. Bring back NFL Europe if you're going to do that. Like, I love the international fan base. I think that's great. But I am not a fan of them going overseas like that to begin with. And I know Shad Khan has something up his sleeve where maybe one of these days the Jags will move to London. But I cannot stand it. That is a logistics nightmare. And shoot, one game, you look at one game here, but this could potentially be every week if they do eventually move a team to London. It's just crazy to me.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. I mean, so Tottenham is supposedly the model that the new Bills Stadium is built after. And obviously currently the Bills use artificial turf as well, right? At their current field. So hopefully they learned a little something here and they make a switch. If they are planning on artificial turf, do away with that with the new stadium, please.
Yeah, so they're planning on natural grass for the Bills' new
Good,
stadium at least.
good.
So that's great. Now, and it was interesting. I heard something, maybe it was on the radio, but they were talking about how the turf there in London is different than the turf here in the U.S. They use green beads instead of the black ones that you typically see on turf. And what happens when it gets wet is that it like expands and it makes the surface like a little bit softer, like more of a cushion. So obviously it didn't really affect the game today because there was no weather, no rain, no nothing like that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you can go natural grass, there's a reason why it's called natural, and the turf is, artificial. So
yeah,
I don't know, man.
What's crazy, Jake, is they actually have grass there for the soccer games.
Yeah,
they use grass
right.
and then they swap it out for the NFL games. Now I don't know what type of grass it is. I mean, but you would think, hey, if you already got the grass laid down, why are you swapping it out for artificial turf? I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason for it. Let's see here. I want to say hi to some other folks out there. Alpha Rob, Timmy Cork's ACL would get repaired the same time the tibia gets plated, would be one surgery.
There we go, Timmy. Need that. Timmy's our other medical expert here. Okay. He knows a little bit about that. He works with all that stuff.
Where's Dr. Blake, man? We paid him a lot of money. He's never able to make these shows.
I watched the game with them, though, actually, today, Mike, believe it or not. Yeah, I did. He was on call, though, and he actually didn't get called in, so that was good.
Got it. Got to give Dorian Williams another crack. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is the first time thrown into the fire, and I think he'll get better. So he came in immediately. Obviously, he struggled with some. He did make a nice pass defense. Mm-hmm. He knocked the ball away, but he struggled with the tackling for sure. A couple missed tackles, and then they switched to Dotson, which is weird seeing him wear 25, dude. I see 25 out there. I'm like, who the hell is wearing 25? But it's right. Dotson, and I thought he made a couple good plays. And then I thought I saw Dorian come back in again. So I don't know what they were tinkering with there, but yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Timmy. And let's see here. Brett saying Frank Clark is available. Go Bills podcasts. Interesting.
Yeah, I think Frank Clark would be an awesome addition, but I'm more concerned probably about that linebacker position more than anything. But again, maybe give Dorian Williams another crack here and see what he's made of. But for the time being, I mean, we do have AJ Klein on our practice squad, so we could at least call him up and have some veteran presence there.
Yeah, the one thing we must say about the turf thing that we're complaining about, the Jaguars didn't have any injuries.
Right.
So,
right.
It's just some bad luck, honestly. I mean, yeah, artificial turf doesn't help the situation, but the fact that they had no injuries and we just had some bad luck. And the Milano thing just seemed like I don't know. I got to watch it again. Somebody was saying he just jumped on the pile and that was a result of that. I don't know. I don't believe that, but I got to look at the film to see. But, man, let's see who else we got out there. Big Al. Our guys do play super aggressive. For sure, man, for sure. And Keith's saying, yeah, the schedule makers definitely screwed the Bills in this one. Not sure why what they were thinking. Keith, congratulations. Your Dolphins are back in
Yeah, how
first
about those
place.
Fins?
And I
Yeah.
mean, we got to enjoy it for a week. We will be back. We'll be back. We'll get that top spot again, Keith. But good to see you out here supporting us on this tough loss for us. Happy for you, for sure. I bet you're inside. You're like, yeah, we got it. We got it again. Let's see here. What else we got going on? Let's see. What about preseason games overseas? Let's see.
Yeah, I'd be for that. That's
Yeah?
what they used to do, Brett. And yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, if you're gonna do it, 2 preseason games over there. Don't do regular season games. I'm sorry. I'm over it.
Yeah. You know our
Not just because of this game either. I've hated this
Yeah.
the entire time since 2008 when they installed this whole thing.
you know our friend Trev from Ireland was at this game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I mean, he was putting some pictures out there on Instagram, but he's a big Bills backer from Ireland, traveled over there for the game. Can't wait to hear from him, see what he thought. And let's see here. The logistics involved in moving a team to London make it seem almost impossible. Imagine Seattle having to travel to London. How exactly do they pull that off? I get it. Yeah. It's just crazy. We got an update on the game. San Fran 14, Cowboys nothing. Thank you, Big Al. Timmy Corks, more concerned about making a trade for corner than linebacker at this point. This is a great question. So I was going to ask you this. So, Jake, if you had to make one move, if you made one big move, is it to replace Daquan Jones? Is it to replace your linebacker? Or are you looking for a corner at this point in time? It's crazy to be saying a corner because just weeks ago we were like, man, we're in a good position. We have 3 corners that could be starting. This is a good thing to have. Now we're talking about going out and looking for a corner. But the question, let me throw it to you for that.
I know it's wild. Yeah, definitely corner. I mean, today, Kyer Elam did not play well whatsoever, and maybe this is part of the reason why he's been a healthy scratch. And it's crazy because last year he made some plays in big moments, and I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Now, I will say this: we were playing a very soft zone today, and that is not his forte, man. Like he was 5 to 7 yards off the receiver at all times today, and it was almost like he was afraid to, like you said it best, Mike, he didn't get handsy at all because he was like afraid to be handsy. The coaches must have got into him because he didn't even touch the receivers today. He had a very hard time. Sure, he came up with 11 tackles, but they're 11 to 20 yards downfield. So it just, I think it is definitely the biggest area of concern. It's brutal. And I saw a scenario. Someone had pitched it. My dad was actually telling me about it. And I don't know if this would even be a possibility, but at this point, do you go ahead and trade Kyer Elam and maybe a draft pick for Pat Surtain in Denver? Because Denver, they just dropped a game today to the New York Jets, and they're sitting at 1-4. I mean, obviously the season's not over, but you got to think maybe, I don't think they would ever trade Pat Surtain, but what a sweet scenario that would be for us. I mean, first round pick, but of course he's one of the top 2 corners in the NFL. Actually came up with a big interception today too. But that was a scenario that was pitched, I think, in the Buffalo News, which is insane.
If I'm a GM though, am I going to make that deal? I see with the struggles that Elam's having, I'm not going to make that deal. Not even going to entertain that unless they really sweeten the spot. But let me ask the channel and you, what did they expect from Elam? What did you expect from Elam? I mean, they haven't let him see the field in a regular season game all year. They throw him in the deep end. He's going against Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is a dog. I'll use your word.
Oh, yeah.
Guy is a stud.
Yeah.
And he took advantage of the Bills, not only Elam, and I don't know what the heck they were thinking lining up Hyde one-on-one on that crucial 3rd down play.
Oh, I know.
Well, it was just an easy pitch and catch. But what did they think they were going to get from Elam day one? And then again, Jake, did you expect them to just come in and lock it down?
I didn't. I don't think I expected him. I can safely say I did not expect what I saw today to happen with him. He's fast too. Like he can keep up with the best of them. That was the biggest thing. Like he can go out there and jam a guy at the line. If he were to get beat, he can recover because he's got the speed. And today, I mean, you didn't see any physicality. You didn't see any aggressiveness. And that's his game. Unfortunately, him playing in the soft zone, the very, very soft zone that we played today, it just did not work. And Yeah. I mean, he got benched late in the game. It was not good. And it seemed like every third down, too, he was involved with the play that happened, whether it was Kelvin Ridley catching a pass over him or, you know, a run going, outside and him not getting there in time. There were just so many things that went wrong. And it's not all on him. But, yeah, it was not a good game. It was not a good showing for Kyrie Elam today.
I mean, I think it's in his head now, right? Because if your boss, Jake, is telling you, stop being handsy, stop being handsy, stop being handsy, and you're inactive for the whole season so far, right? Week 5 is the first opportunity you get, and it's only because of an injury that happened to Trey White. It's in his head. He goes out there. He's not playing his game now that he's always played. He's playing someone else's game, and obviously he's not adapting well to it. So it's really troublesome. I don't know. I see people out there saying trade Elam, but what are you going to get for him? I don't know. And are you going to get something that's going to help you now? Because that's what I'd want. I don't want to trade something. I mean, I don't want to trade something for, next year's draft or whatever. If we did, it better be a damn, high draft choice. But that isn't going to be the case. So, I mean, it'd have to be something that's going to really help us. I think unfortunately we have to roll with him for a little bit longer and see
I don't want to give up on
here.
Him. That's the thing. Like, for as bad as we're saying that he played today, I don't want to give up on him just yet because that was my guy. I mean, coming into the draft
it was our guy
2 years ago, that was our guy. That's who we wanted.
Yeah.
And when we drafted him, I was so fired up. And again, last year made some big plays against the Chiefs and did a hell of a job against Tyreek Hill when we played the Dolphins. So he has the ability to be a good player. It just, I don't know what it is that we have to do to bring it out of him. Mad Chatter makes a good point here too, actually. Or was it Matt? No, Alpha Rob. He has 2 years in the system and had a week of practice. Definitely. Yeah. But he has been a healthy scratch over the last few weeks. And, I think you expect him to come out rejuvenated. Like, this is his chance. He can prove some haters wrong. And I don't know if it was Sean McDermott that set him up for this type of game, not allowing him to play his normal game of getting in these receivers' faces. And I think that actually would have benefited us quite a bit today, to be honest with you. Just get physical with these guys at the line because there was none of that today. And we paid for it. But I know it's very frustrating because after today, I don't know. I don't know where you go from here, but I think you do have to roll with them. I think you're absolutely right, Mike.
Yeah, and based on what Timmy said, what McDermott said in the press conference, didn't really instill much confidence into Elam. I think, Timmy, correct me if I'm wrong, but you basically were saying that he was like, I expect him to come in and be a lockdown corner. I mean, basically, he needs next man up, needs to come in and play like he's been playing all year long, play like he's a seasoned vet, get in there, make some plays. I don't know. It's troublesome, man. And right now, I don't know where they go. They do have to make some calls. They gotta make a play for somebody out there. I don't even know who's available, but trading him, I don't know who would take the bait right now, honestly. Let me see. Let me catch up. We got a lot of folks. So Mad Chatter was asking, did we lose Milano for the year? Yes, it looks like we lost Milano for the year, Mad Chatter. Hope we caught it. Hopefully the channel let you know about that. Looks like we may also lose Daquan Jones for the year as well. Really depends on whether that pec is torn. If it's torn, he's done. If it's not, it's going to be weeks. How many weeks? I don't know.
Probably 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yep. Somebody already answered Mad Chatter. Good. Mad Chatter saying just forfeit. Do not go to London. Hey, we got a London game. We're not going. No.
My brother-in-law texted me in the middle of that game, and he said, at what point do we just consider forfeiting this game so we don't get any more injuries and can get out of here and get home?
Interesting.
As bad as that is.
Daquan Jones, he was having an amazing. He's in his 10th year. Had a pretty good year for us last year. Was dinged up towards the end of the year. Got off to a great start, and I think he was saying that they were letting him play a little differently in McDermott's defense this year. They're letting him rush the passer and be a little more aggressive. So he's off to a fantastic start. But Poona Ford's there. We signed him. We were all high on him. He's been inactive now for a few weeks, and next man up, Poona Ford. Let's go. Let's roll.
That's right. Yeah, he can do it. I mean, we know. Listen, I watched a lot of tape on Poona Ford from last year, and he's got it, man. I mean, he's been a healthy scratch over the last few weeks, and that's because we've just been looking to address the defensive end position because those guys aren't actually all healthy, and we felt good about the guys we have on the interior. But now that Daquan is out, they brought Poona Ford in to essentially be his replacement. So give him a breather when he needs to. So yeah, he'll definitely be active now.
Yeah, so Tim Settle, Jordan Phillips kind of stepped up. Again, the D-line played good. We're talking about that in a little bit. I think the defense gave it all they had today. They kept the team in this game. It's the offense, and we'll talk about that as well, that I feel let us down in a big way. Let's see here. What do we got?
Timmy, he could play in multiple schemes.
Yeah, okay.
The nice part with him, he's actually already gone through 2 defensive coordinators, so he knows a couple different defenses. Now he's got Vance Joseph as his D coordinator. So I think, I mean, that's the great part about him coming out of college too. He is a pro's pro. You could plug and play him anywhere.
All right, let's talk about this. So Matt Chatters, he's begging for you to answer his question. Please address my Dawson drops concern. It's been a thing. It's not new. We've seen it over the years, right? Seems to make the easy catches, seems to drop those, and then makes great plays. So I'll let you answer, Matt Chatter here.
Yeah, I don't get it. Today, there were a couple of tough ones. I mean, the one where he put his hand up, can't really put too much blame on him for that one, but there were some others that definitely should have been caught and they could have been first down. So definitely didn't help ourselves with that. I think this year you're seeing kind of what he was 2 to 3 years ago, where he was dropping those easier ones and making these spectacular catches, and it's crazy because he's like a juice guy. Like, he'll go out there when we most need it and he'll make a really, really good play. Like even last week where he just ran over Javon Holland, like he'll do stuff like that. So it's almost like a Josh Allen scenario at tight end where you take the good with the good and the bad with the bad. But the drops, we cannot live with the drops, man. We cannot live with that whatsoever.
Yeah, let me see here. We got Go Bills podcast coming in. Guys available via free agency: Linval Joseph, Akron Hicks, and offensive outside linebacker Anthony Barr. So Jake, injuries. I don't know. Next man up is what it's looking like right now, unless Bean pulls a rabbit out of his hat, which he hasn't been known to do during the season. At least he pulls magic rabbits out of his hats during the draft, typically. But we'll see. I mean, this is a case where I can't remember a situation like this in some time where we've lost 3 key starters on defense within 2 weeks. It's absolutely crazy to me. But let's talk a little more about that defense, because I thought they did a very good job, Jake, as with their hands tied behind their back. They kept this game as close as they could until they eventually just wore out. I mean, the Jaguars had the ball 38 minutes. 38 minutes, and the Bills' offense was just going 3 and out, 4 and out, 3 and out. It was just ridiculous, and we'll talk more about that offense in a little bit. But, dude, I mean, they did everything they could up until the end when they ran out of gas. And, again, you saw that picture. It was like there's Von Miller standing there with no hat, and poor A.J. Epinesa, who, by the way, game of his career, dude. Game of his career. So, I know you talked a little bit about that defense early on, but, I'm not blaming the defense for this one bit. I felt they did everything they could to keep us in the game. So hats off to them. But let me get your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, that Jaguars team is good. Like, I don't think they've been underwhelming up to this point, but that's a really good football team. Again, Trevor Lawrence is a top 10 quarterback in this league. Calvin Ridley has potential to be a top 10 receiver in this league. He might be a top 10 receiver in this league right now. Christian Kirk is a very good receiver. Travis Etienne is an up-and-coming running back. They have a pretty solid offensive line. Evan Ingram is a very solid tight end. So this isn't a bad team. And for the defense to go out and do what they did today, 5 sacks today, Mike, 2 turnovers. I mean, it was enough. It should have been enough for us to get a win with our offense. And the offense was sleepwalking through the first 3 quarters. I mean, it took them a while to get going. And, I think Josh was just a little off today. Like, the stats were still good. They were still there. He still did some Josh Allen-like things, of course. But, I think he just – and this isn't all on him, too. The receivers dropped a lot of passes. So it's kind of a mixture of everything. Play calling, too. Ken Dorsey, I don't think, called his best game either. So it's kind of a mixture of all 3 of those things. I just felt like, Josh was underthrowing guys too. That's something you don't typically see either. I mean, even on that Steph Diggs interception, had he just put a little more on that, man, he could have maybe came down with it. Obviously, that I don't hate that interception. It's 3rd and 15. You're throwing a deep ball, giving your receiver a 50-50 shot. So, Steph couldn't really come down with it because it's a little underthrown. He falls to the ground, and that was that. Darius Williams comes up with the interception. Whatever. That's fine. That's essentially a punt. They get the ball. And you know what's even crazier? The Jags field position today, they started in their own territory, deep in their own territory multiple times. And they ended up running like 82 plays today. No wonder why our defense was gassed.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime a team can put up 70-plus plays in general is insane already. They put up 82 plays and had 38 minutes of possession. I mean, that's unheard of, So offense, again, the 3-and-outs, just uncharacteristic of us, and it just took us too long to get going. And even so, it was still a one-score game.
Yeah, so Channel, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the defense. I think, like we said, both Jake and I agree. They did everything they could with their hands tied behind their back, losing 2 of their best players on defense and losing a third one the week prior. I mean, they came and played as much as they could, and they kept us in the game. But let's get over to the offense, because this is where, to me, was the biggest failure. I mean, I don't even know if Dorsey even schemed for this week. I think he just said, let's just use what we rolled with last week, and it worked for us, so let's go with it. But Jake, run game, horrible, abysmal, absolutely horrible. I mean, how many times are you going to run the shotgun draw to James Cook?
Right.
How many times are you going to try that? I mean, we ran the ball something like 19 times, was it? And 4 of them was Josh Allen, and he was our leading rusher. Where's the 12 personnel? Where is Dalton Kincaid? Look, I feel like we've been fooled a little bit, Jake. I mean, when we picked that guy, we were all taken back a little bit, but then we kind of fooled ourselves and saying, oh, yeah, the Bills are going to use him this year. They're going to use him in the slot. He's going to get 70. Initially, we were saying 60 targets. Then we started, fooling ourselves. Now he's going to get 70, 80 targets. Where the heck is he, man? Utilize this young guy. Utilize this 12 personnel. Let me just show you, Jake, what we did on drives here. Bills, first half, 3 plays punt, 3 plays punt, 6 plays punt, 4 plays punts. Then finally we have an 11-play touchdown. We get the ball at half. We're in this game. We go down to score. We take the lead, right? 4 plays punt, 4 plays punt, 4 plays interception. Like you said, that was 3rd and 15 at the Buffalo 41. The only thing I can say, and I know people hate to hear this from you and I, like we're okay with that. Well, in this situation, it wasn't like he was double teamed. It was one-on-one. I'll take Steph Diggs one-on-one any day of the week. And like you said, if he just threw that a little bit further, but he also underthrew Steph on that earlier big bomb. Dude, Steph Diggs was so wide open. Like, how do you underthrow him? I guess in that situation, he's like, I just want to make sure I get this completion. But, dude, I'm just baffled here. We were 5 of 12 on 3rd down. The run game. I mean, we have these bigger backs, and we were trying to run everything from shotgun. Why not get under center? Why not smash mouth football once in a while? Talk to me, man. Talk to me about what's going on.
It's crazy because Latavius Murray and Damian Harris weren't running bad either. Keep those guys in the game. Keep running them a little bit. I mean, whatever seems to be working, just stick with that. It seems like we almost, I don't know if it's we try to get so cute or we just get impatient or what. Like, I think you got to just stay more patient. It's like a total, Sync 7 said it best here. It's a total 180 from last week. Ken Dorsey goes from calling his best game, maybe as the Bills OC, to this. And I just don't understand it. And then even same with Josh. I mean, goes from maybe having his best game as a pro to this game today. And he still played well. Statistically had really good numbers and still did enough, but it wasn't enough. It really wasn't enough because the offense just wasn't clicking and there were way too many 3-and-outs, and it was just very frustrating all across the board. And I think with James Cook, I mean, 5 carries minus 4 yards, that is unacceptable. But with him, and we've seen this, it takes him a little bit to get going. And I think you just got to get him in that rhythm and just roll with the hot hand. And it was almost like we would have a decent run from Damian Harris or Latavius Murray, and then we just take them out immediately and put James Cook back in, and then just draw up the middle or whatever, and just wasn't working, man. Like trying to fit a square peg in a triangle hole, whatever you call it. It just, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like it whatsoever. And yeah, we better get some things tied up for next week. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, let me correct myself. We only ran the ball 14 times, Jake. 14 times. And
For
4 of
29
those
yards?
was Josh Allen. Yes.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. I mean, what do you do in here? You got Harris running the ball 3 times, Murray 2 times, Cook 5 times. And again, every time it seemed like we'd have momentum, they try that stupid draw play in shotgun. They'd stuff it for a no gain or a 1 yard loss, and momentum lost. It seemed like we would fail to get a first down and have to punt. I just don't get that. How do you have this offensive line who's been looking really good? Again, I'm putting this on Dorsey, and I'm also, look, see if you understand what I'm going to say here. Josh Allen didn't lose the game for us, but he didn't win the game for us. And I don't know if that makes sense. Correct. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I expect Josh Allen, when we're struggling, to make some plays to get us that win, and that didn't happen. But I'm putting most of this on Dorsey. Answer Mr. Seven's question here. I think we were just talking about that.
Calling. Yeah. No, I don't think the play calling really helped. And it was almost, again, the tight ends, man. Like, I know we gave Dawson Knox a couple looks, but you want to see some more from Dalton Kincaid. Now, I will say this, too. Drops didn't help today. And there were multiple times where receivers would catch the ball and they were short of the sticks. And even on the 2-point conversion, I like Khalil Shakir a lot, but he should not be the guy out there for that. I mean, Josh didn't put enough on it. He should have put a little more zip on it.
He threw it late.
But you got to get someone out there that's a little bit more fast. I mean, you got to get a guy like Deontay Hardy, someone with some more speed out there to get to the pylon at least. And, yeah, I didn't love that either. But, yeah, he did throw it late. So, can't put everything on Khalil for that one.
Yeah. I mean, I saw him. He was wide open. I'm like, throw it. And Danny throws it. And, of course, the corner's out there, or it's safety. I don't know who was there and made the play. But, trying to have Khalil, he's not known for that juke move and power move, right? So I agree. Deontay Hardy, have him go in motion, throw it to him, easy touchdown, right? But get it out quickly. So let's see, what do we got here? Mad Cheddar. Let's see. Actually, I don't care too much that they lost. The reason I will wake up in terrors every night is the turf injuries. Yeah. I think all of us agree with you there, Mad Chatter. I mean, it's a loss. We've seen the Bills lose games like this before. We've seen the Bills come back from games like this before, and we're 3-2. And I looked at the schedule last year. After 10 games, we were 7-3, and I have no reason to think we're not going to be 7-3 after what I see as far as the upcoming schedule. We should at least be 7-3. So I'm not so worried about the loss, like you said, but I am worried about the people we lost, which is huge.
Right. I don't think we expected that.
Nope.
Maybe the 2 losses. Sure. I think we both had a loss to the Jags on our preseason prediction. Am I right, Mike? I know I definitely did.
I have to look, Jake. I mean, I was thinking I was going to go back and look, but I didn't get a chance. Still been resting a lot, but I was like, yeah, we got to look back and see where we were. I know last year we got off to a really good start. I think we were 5-2 or something like that. I know we lost back-to-back games at some point, but yeah, I mean, if you look at the schedule, we can talk about that in a little bit. Upcoming games, I really see. I mean, the Bengals look like they're starting to get back into form, right? That's one of the games that you and I think one of us at least said we'd lose that game.
Yeah, I had
maybe even
there.
My dad.
Yep.
But if you look at the rest of the teams, we should win. But again, I say that, but we should have won today. We should have won against the Jets. But man, it happens. Losses happen. Let's see who else we got here.
And it for whatever reason, it's always the Jaguars. It's always a weird game against them, and the score is always weird. And it just again, another 1-score game. I talked about it in the pregame. And it was the last, I think, 6 games we played against Jacksonville. They've all been 1-score games. And now they just broke the series, the tiebreaker there, because it was 9-9 in our series head-to-head. So now they have 10 wins to our 9.
They've won the last 4 out of 6 matchups, which is just crazy. I mean, don't get us wrong. Jaguars were expected. I mean, they made the playoffs. They won a playoff game last year.
It's a good team.
It's a very good team. Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you're already in London and you have that week to rest and no jet lag, it is huge. And they were expected, some people were saying they're going to take the number 1 seed in the AFC this year. I know, people early on in the season, they got off to a rough start, but they're no cakewalk, man. They're no cakewalk. Absolutely. Let's see. Our running backs all stunk. Well, I don't know if they all stunk. We just didn't give them the ball. We didn't try to run enough, right?
There was never really any rhythm that was
Yeah.
developed. It just, you just abandoned it too quickly. There was never a purpose to establish it. And I know it's such an old and dinosaur term, but I mean, you saw what's happened the last few weeks, and it certainly helped Josh and this offense flow a little bit. And I'm not saying you have to run it every down, but ride the hot hand at least when you have a guy in the backfield that's at least picking up 2 to 3 yards, 3 to 4 yards a carry. You know what I mean? And actually, I think Latavius and Damian Harris both averaged. Latavius 2 for 6, Damian Harris 3 for 13. So Damian Harris 4.3 yards a carry. Well, not much, but I mean, ride that guy. Ride the hot hand.
Yeah, because in recent games, Cook seems to get off to a slow start. Bring those bigger guys in, those physical guys, have some smash mouth football, get the thing going, and then it seems Cook comes back in, and then he starts cooking. For whatever reason, that seems to be the theme so far. Hardy, somebody just said something. Hardy worthless in first 5 weeks, just not using him enough. I mean, he had a nice long play today.
That was nice.
Yeah, he had that muff punt at the end of the game, but I mean, odds of us doing anything were very low. But yeah, he had a nice play there. We just haven't used him enough either. Again, none of those jet sweeps. Where's all those little plays that we used to try with McKenzie? I thought we got Hardy to be the McKenzie. He's a faster version of McKenzie. What do you think?
I know it. I know. Yeah, he's basically the same thing. I mean, there's really not a ton of difference there. Based on how we're utilizing him, it really, that first game too against the Jets, it was like that first drive. We went to him 2 to 3 times on that first drive, and then again just abandoned the whole damn thing. I think for specific players there needs to be a better way of scheming them in this offense. You talk about Deontay Hardy, you talk about Dalton Kincaid. Those are probably the biggest two that come to mind. And Trent Sherfield, another guy, has a catch today, but otherwise, he's not really doing a whole lot. I mean, he's doing very well in the run game. He's blocking extremely well, and I think he adds a ton of value there. But I expected this guy to be a 500, 600-yard receiver, and he's not going to get anywhere close to that. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah. Timmy, I totally agree with you, man. Let's not call a season. Let's not pack it in. I mean, this team, like I said, just said a few minutes ago, I see us being 7-3 after 10 games. Which is exactly where we were last year. And then, yes, we got some tough games at the back end of the schedule, but these are, if we even split some of those, I mean, we're good, man. We're good. We just need to get to the playoffs. I'm not even worried about the number 1 seed. That's super hard. I mean, it is so hard to take the number 1 seed when you got all these good teams in the AFC. So, Matt Chatter, don't spiral too much, man. Look, with everything, Timmy says it best right here. A lot of things went against the Bills today. Injuries, even before the game. Team kept it close. And jet lag, traveling for a home game. Come on now. A lot of things. Yeah. And they still had a shot to win it. You would have loved to see them pull that out, just like that Jet game. But, man, this is the NFL. And what did they say? Everyone says it's a week-to-week league. Anybody on any given Sunday can win a football game. And we've seen this so much though. It just like, it's like the same pattern. Like, damn it. Could we have just, getting up at 6 a.m. Let me just say this. I'm an early bird, but lately because of the meds I've been taking, getting up at 6 a.m. was a little bit of a challenge for me today.
Oh yeah.
And then when I make it, that game, I mean, then I'm just beat the rest of the day. But I got a little energy. Needed to get out here with Jake, spend too long, and talk it over. But
I love it.
Don't throw away the season yet. Again, they're next man up. We've seen this many times. Teams have had injuries, and people step up. The positive thing, we didn't lose anyone on offense. I mean, Dawkins was a little dinged up. He came back in, but nobody on that offense. And Jake, you promised me, you told me, offense wins football games these days, man. Defense,
that's right.
Just needs to kind of keep you in there a little bit, and that defense can do that.
Well, that's exactly it, and that was the story of today. Had our offense played their normal game, this would have been a big win. But unfortunately, they just got hot too late, and I'm not going to even say they got hot. I mean, they were moving the ball, though. I mean, they were moving the ball downfield quickly. Like, it was it was different than what we've actually been seeing over the last few weeks. Like, it wasn't just taking the check downs. I think Josh was fed up too towards the end. I mean, you could even tell when he ran that last one in. I mean, he just threw the ball to the ref, said, "Get me the hell off this field. Let's get moving here. Let's get some more, get another possession," And, I know he's frustrated, but I will say you saw some glimpses of him on the sideline, and he just looked like he was out of it. I don't know what it was, and maybe I'm just reading into that too much, but I think, he'll get right. The team will get right, and the injuries absolutely suck, but even so, like you said, Mike, no injuries on offense, so that's freaking huge.
Yeah, another thing that hurts this team, and this will hurt any team, when you have 11 penalties for 109 yards.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
I mean,
the length of the field, and then some.
There were some big plays. I mean, was it the Jordan Poyer hit that was
terrible?
What do they call that?
Unnecessary roughness.
That was tough because he really wasn't targeting, and he actually didn't hit him helmet to helmet. But it just unfortunate play. I mean, it was a good play, and that was like on a 3rd and long. They were deep in their end, and that would have been great field position for us. So you don't have that penalty. But I will say this, and I'm going to say this in all fairness. I thought the Josh Allen 41 awful call on the Josh Allen 17. Yeah. Like that pass or that unnecessary roughness. Are you kidding me? Come on. So let me see here.
You're just playing football. I mean, there's nothing you can do. If you're the other Josh Allen 41, there's nothing you could do in that situation. That was a terrible call. In my opinion, a makeup call.
Yeah, I think so too. Because Josh, like the announcer was saying, he was kind of tucking and he lowered his head. So, of course, the helmet hit him. And then Josh made sure that they threw the flag.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, Timmy, if it was a blowout, I would worry more. But the defense stood up and offense was able to rally back in the end. And yeah, I totally agree. So don't spiral, Matt Chatter. Come on.
It's more frustrating because it's like, where was this all game? It's like the last few minutes you guys are putting on this great show.
Yeah.
Where was this the entire game? It just came out of nowhere.
Well, you have to, late in the game, I think a little bit of it was the prevent defense, which usually just prevents you from winning games is all that does. But yeah, some of that was garbage yardage.
Sure.
Let's see here. Big Al. Oh, sorry, Timmy. He said refs ruined any momentum for both teams. Yeah. Wait, between the two teams, 11 penalties for the Bills, 8 penalties for the Jaguars. 19 flags today. Oh my goodness. That'll ruin anyone's momentum.
Yeah.
Big Al, I would like the whole team to get their butts off the bench and start cheering their team on. Not enough emotion.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you, Big Al. I don't know. I guess I wasn't focused on the sidelines or didn't see a lot of that. Maybe you're checking that out more than me. But yeah,
they made sure to get a video or they got the camera on Steph Diggs when he slammed the tablet, though, of course, and everyone's going to come for his head and say how he's, a distraction and how he hates the team and stuff. No, this guy plays with so much raw emotion. He loves this team. He wants nothing more than this team to win. So anyone that comes out with comments saying anything negative about that, I think they can just go take a walk. And he has been the most consistent piece of this entire team and offense by far.
Yeah, and Jake, I wanted to say this. The O-line gave up no sacks. Josh Allen was not sacked at all. What was crazy, I don't know if you remember the play. So it was Dawkins blocking Josh Allen 41.
Yep.
And Allen was pushing him back to the point. He's right next to Josh Allen for what felt like 3 seconds. I'm like, are you going to move? Right. JA-17, are you going to roll? Are you going to move? But, the offensive line, no sacks. That's impressive. And I don't feel like it was Josh was scrambling for his life at all. I thought the O-line, as far as pass blocking goes, did a good job. Where I feel they failed was just a bad scheme this week as far on the offensive side of the ball. Dorsey, and again, with all the other things that happened, just a bad situation. And these things happen from time to time. Let's see. We got Womp Docking coming in there. Every single play, I looked for a flag.
I agree,
That's how it felt. Yeah, it did, man. Every time we made a good play, you're like, is there a flag? You're looking for that little yellow thing to show up on the screen. No. And a couple times it did show up in the worst situations. Slam tablet was after Epson. I got a BS penalty on 3rd down. What was that one? Oh.
Was that, Timmy, the 3rd down penalty? I'm trying to think of what
because he was offsides on one play. But
there was the offside
He was
call.
clearly offsides.
There was a, I what I do hate is the illegal hands to the face. The Ed Oliver play that he got illegal hands to the face on.
Yeah.
freaking hate that call, by the way, too. I can't stand it in general. Obviously, there's a difference between poking a guy in the eye and then just getting your hand up, and then it just happens to get up and under his face mask, you know?
By
Crazy.
the way, let me go to the stats here real quick. Ed Oliver was destroying that line.
Oh, again, another great performance.
Ed Oliver was dominating. Now, yes, he got a couple penalties, but when you're being aggressive, like Big Al said, sometimes that's going to happen. But man, he has just been destroying lines. Let's see, Matt Chatter. Yeah, so let's go over just some quick stats, and then we'll wrap this up, Jake, because I think we covered both sides of it. You know, let me go through some numbers here, and you know, folks in the channel, again, Jake and I are the most optimistic people you'll ever meet. I did say if we were gonna lose, we have a bring the rain segment and tell the mothers to cover up their children's ears because maybe we just let loose. But I feel like we've given some criticism where it needed to be. And when you include everything else that went wrong today, what more is there to say? I mean, you know, when you're saying fire this person, fire that person, what are you going to do? Are you going to fire Dorsey right now? And who's going to come in and take over your offensive coordinator? You just let Josh run with it. Josh, you're now the OC. It's not easy to replace those. And making big trades, yeah, I hope Bean works out some magic, but that's hard to do. It's hard to do at this point in the year. But who knows? I have faith. I have faith in the guys that we drafted, and I think they'll, you know, get a good week of practice, and we'll see improvement. And like you said, this team kept us in the game, dude. This defense was stout. They did what they had to do, even with all the things that happened. We were still there in the game. But let's go through some numbers real quick. Josh Allen threw 27 for 40 for 359 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. That 1 interception was that 50-50 ball to Steph. And for a brief second, it looked like Diggs had that, man.
Oh, I thought he came down with it.
Right.
I was fired up.
So when you look at the stats, you're like, that's a good. Now, if you didn't watch that game, you're like, man, Josh Allen killed it. A lot of those were towards the end of the game. And when the Jaguars in prevent. But he had a 102 rating, 86.7 QBR rating. Running game was atrocious. I already said we ran the ball a total. This is a total between our 3 running backs and Josh Allen, 14 times for 29 yards. You want to pick another reason why we lost that game? Look at those numbers right there. Steph Diggs did Steph Diggs things, man. He was 8 for 121. I have him in my fantasy football league. I'm on a roll, Jake. I'm now going to be 4-1. After that first loss, my team's turned it around. But 8 for 121, Jake. 1 touchdown. His longest was 48 yards. He had 11 targets. Keep feeding him, Jake. Keep feeding this man. He's on a mission this year. Gabe Davis, 6 of 100, 1 touchdown. Now people are saying Big Gabe had a big drop again. Big drop. And I don't know. I mean, I thought he had a good game. I mean, he made some good plays.
Yeah. How about that catch?
What about the back-to-back? So the first one where they throw it to Gabe, touchdown, they call it back.
Oh, yeah.
They go right back to him. And then, of course, a couple on the sideline. And, yeah, you could say there was that one drive where he dropped a catchable ball that would have extended a drive. So, I mean, I don't know, Jake. What's your thoughts on Gabe's game today?
Gabe played a really good game today. I don't think – listen, I know he had that drop, but that'll happen. I'll take the catch that he made on the sideline there and the 2 back-to-back touchdown catches all day.
And then Deontay Hardy had 2 for 62. It was nice to see him get a nice long ball today. 43-yarder was his long one. Cook had 3 for 25. Dalton Kincaid, 2 for 19. This is another big disappointment for me. Why are you not getting Dalton Kincaid involved? When's it going to happen, Jake? I'm expecting. I mean, he had 2 targets. That's it. 2 targets. And Dawson Knox had 6 targets. Why are you not throwing to the guy? Look, we know Dawson Knox. We love Dawson Knox. It's part of the Punt Foundation. We love this man. But he's not the best hands. He's never been the best hands. You got a guy who supposedly has great hands, and he's shown us that. He hasn't proven otherwise. Kincaid can catch the ball. What's going on, Jake?
I don't know. You got to scheme him into this offense. I mean, you drafted this guy in the first round. I don't care whatever it takes. You have to get him involved and work the middle of the field. It seems like all of our passing plays go to the sideline first off, unless it's Steph Diggs. I mean, outside of him, it's always to the sideline. So let's work the middle of the field a little bit.
Yeah, who else we got out there? We got some folks coming a little late. Let's see. Comedian Mo Brown. What about the BS refs and calls? 100+ yards penalty. We were talking about that. It was just a momentum breaker for both teams. I mean, the Jags had 8 penalties. We had 11. Just insane. And there was bad calls on both sides, to be fair. Horrible call on Jordan Poyer. Yeah, we agree with you. We said that earlier for sure. But a makeup call on that was the bad call on Josh Allen, 41 for the Jags when he sacked Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Should not have been a, what do they call that? Roughing the passer, yeah.
Yep.
And let's see here, Matt Cheddar, Laporta.
Yeah, and that makes me even more frustrated because you go out, you see right after this at the 1:00 game, Sam Laporta catching 2 touchdown passes and making plays for the Lions. It's like they find a way to get him involved in that offense. They have Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have some really good receivers too. Jamison Williams returning back there now. Josh Reynolds. Like, they find a way to get their tight end involved. And I know Dan Campbell's a tight end himself, former tight end. But gosh, man, like, this is a dude that we drafted in the first round. There's no reason he should only have 2 targets a game. Crazy.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I'm reminded after the draft, a coworker sends me a text, an image, a meme, basically saying every fan after your team drafts a tight end in the first round, trying to fool yourself that they're going to make an impact on this team this year. History has shown that that's usually not the case, but we were believers, Jake, and yeah. I hope that they turn this around because that young kid is good. He's shown that he's good. Throw him the damn ball, please. He's your receiver.
Sure-handed too. Sure-handed too. I mean,
you want a guy who's going to catch the ball in a crucial situation. Get it to Kincaid, and then work Knox in. Sure, I'm not saying go away from Knox. I mean, Knox has been a big part of our team for years now. Knox,
he's our juice guy. Dawson Knox is our juice guy. Dalton Kincaid is going to make the sure-handed catches, and he's athletic too. I would like to see him stretch the field a little bit if that's a possibility.
Yeah, so we had Knox 3 for 17 on 6 targets. Unfortunately, Khalil Shakir had 1 for 11 on 1 target. Again, that 2-point play, I don't blame him. They got it out to him a little bit too late. Trent Sherfield had 1 for 3, and Murray was 1 for 3. And let's see here. We're good there. Let me go back to comedian Mo Brown. Yeah, we agree with you. We said that earlier. Jags. This London Jags, this game was BS. Yeah, I mean, when you're a home team and you have to travel overseas and you're going against a team that's already there, well rested, it's definitely going to affect you. But I will say this, Jake, I would have expected the Bills to get out there earlier than Friday.
Yeah.
Why are you getting out there on Friday? Get out there on Wednesday, Tuesday, hell, Thursday. And then I'm not so much complaining, but you get out there on Friday and you give yourself 2 nights to get right. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, man.
Yeah, I get about having the consistency of practicing in your own facility, but this is a consistency where you have to get your body to adapt to a 5-hour time difference. Like, that takes a little bit of time, at least a couple of days, like you said, Mike. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, and then let's see. Big L. Big L does not like Tim Settle. Did I bring that up already?
No, let's pull that up.
Where did I see it here? Where's Big L? Had it. Wow, did that much chat come in?
Oh, Mad Chatter said that.
Mad Chatter said that. Okay,
stinks.
All right.
He hasn't done a whole lot, man. I mean,
too.
I've been a little disappointed with him, but I will say I did like what Jordan Phillips did today. He made a couple of nice pass deflections. I think he filled in very well today. So, again, that's another guy that's a juice guy, Jordan Phillips. So, moving forward, I know, Mad Chatter, you asked, too, just about who else we have on that defensive tackle side of the ball. Not much. I mean, Jordan Phillips, Tim Settle, Kendall Vickers, Poona Ford, we're going to have to activate him now. So, that's really it.
Yeah, and talk to us. So, we saw Kyer Elam, but we saw Ingram come in. Can you tell us, because for me, Jake, I need to know a little bit more about this guy. Tell the folks here what you know about Ingram.
Yeah, he played a little bit last year for us, too. He's familiar with the system and hometown favorite, went to the University of Buffalo. So you got to root for him a little bit if you're a Buffalo guy. He's aggressive. Do I think he is the answer at corner? I don't. I was a little surprised when we elevated him because I thought, well, this is telling me that we've either lost all faith in Kyer Elam or he's just an insurance policy, which he actually ended up being today. And thank God we did activate him. It's almost eerie how they foreshadowed this whole thing happening almost. They probably thought in their head, like maybe an injury does happen. And fortunately, it did. So not at the cornerback room, though. Actually, a lot of our cornerbacks stayed healthy today, although they did take Kyer out and play Jamarcus Ingram over him. But the only one that was kind of a surprise being out today was Christian Benford with the shoulder injury, because he did return last game. So hopefully he'll be good to go for this next game and get him back.
Yeah, that's always what I worry about, because we had, Groot, right? Rousseau came back in the game last week, and then next thing we know, he's missing a game. And I haven't heard much clarity on what his injury is. I know it's a foot injury, but don't know how severe that is. And he had a foot injury last year that kind of, changed the year for him. I mean, he struggled through whatever foot injury he had last year.
That's the positive, at least. You think we should be getting Groot and Christian Benford back.
And Bond.
But while we lose,
Bonds,
Bond. His snap count will only increase. So that's the positive to at least take out of this.
Right. So let me go through the defense real quick. Bernard had 16 tackles, 8 solo. I thought Bernard had another strong game. I mean, the guy just has a nose for the football. I love the guy. And I think Timmy was asking you, was it Mike who was saying he was ready to give up on Bernard? Did Timmy ask you that?
Yeah, Timmy did ask that. Yeah.
Timmy, I heard that comment, and I don't think I was ready to give up on him, but I'm like, what are we getting? I don't know what we're going to get.
As did everyone else.
Yeah. I had my doubts, man. Absolutely, 100%. But he is, he's one guy that's elevated his game more than I think all of us have expected. He's been fantastic. And dude, what a quarterback. I mean, I just see him like right until the play is snapped, he's talking to people. I mean, sometimes I'm almost like, dude, turn your head around because they're about to snap the ball. Like he goes to the last possible second, but I love that about him. I didn't see that in Edmonds. I didn't see that at all.
Never.
By the way, Timmy, I know you want Tremaine Edmonds traded back. I mean, he's not doing a good job over there in Chicago, and you're hoping they make that deal. I don't think this is going to happen. I'm just joking. There's no way Tremaine Edmonds is coming back to the Buffalo Bills. But, dude, how impressive is Bernard? Literally quarterback. First time doing it for us. Fantastic.
Yeah, he's been awesome. Nothing but a joy to watch out there. And you could tell he's playing free. Like, he has the confidence instilled in him now that he could play in this league. That first game against the Jets, he looked lost that first half. And then, I don't know if Sean McDermott said something to him, but he's like, you just be you. Go out there, make plays, run sideline to sideline, communicate. And he's over-communicating, which is never a bad thing. And this guy is just finding a way to get to the ball. I mean, another big play today. You go out there, and who was it? So it was Kingsley Jonathan that forced the fumble. Who had the sack? Was it Leonard Floyd with the sack, or?
Well, for sacks, we had, we had Oliver had a sack. He might have been in on that one that you're talking about. Epinesa had 2 sacks. Leonard Floyd had 2 sacks.
Yep.
And I'm not sure who forced the fumble there. But yeah, we'll get to your question here, Matt Cheddar. I think I asked Jake that a little while ago. If you could get one panel, would you trade for defensive tackle, cornerback, or middle linebacker? And I think you were saying corner.
Yeah, I would say corner out of everything. I'm actually out of all the positions right now that you really can't get away with having just a subpar player at. I think corner is it. And, I think our D-line for sure can help that position out a lot because we can get there. We can get to the quarterback. But at the same time, you still have to have someone back there that's capable. Today, there were a lot of very crucial plays that our corners, specifically Kyer Elam. I don't think Dane played an awful game, but, it was very recognizable for that very specific player in Kyer Elam. He just did not have the best game of his career today.
Yeah, Timmy. How crazy is it that Edmonds goes to Chicago? And I don't know who was talking about it. Like either he's not happy or they're not happy with him, and they're talking like possible trades already with this guy. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's wild.
And then I always was a Benford fan. I didn't know that, but cool. I'm glad you were on board. Did you watch him in college quite a bit, or
he was sick at Baylor, man? Let me tell you.
Was he? Okay.
Really,
I know
really
he did good,
yeah.
but I mean, you would have had to have watched some Baylor games or read up on him. But Timmy reads everything. Timmy's all over, like on every platform there is, reading up. He's like an encyclopedia, like you, Jake. Soaks up all this information.
Oh yeah.
So Timmy, what made you believe in Bernard, man? What was it that you saw? Was it just something you read or something you saw in college?
I said it. Terrell Bernard is Thomas Davis 2.0 in the making right now. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we're not missing Edmonds. Absolutely, 100%. Let's see here. So, that was all the big numbers I gave you. Let's see. Micah Hyde had, Dane Jackson had 8 tackles. Ed Oliver, 9 tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss. Like I said, he was destroying their offensive line. Fantastic game by Oliver. And he continues to be that guy. Dane Jackson. How'd you think Dane did? I know Elam's taking.
Yeah, I don't think he played that bad. I really don't think he played bad.
I was going to say.
He had the one big play, too.
Yeah.
Where it was, it should have been a touchdown, and he got his hand in there. And I think it was to Evan Ingram.
I've seen him being more physical as far as run support goes. So I think that's a positive with him. He's not the biggest guy. He's actually the smallest corner we got. But he's being pretty physical out there. It does feel like Elam's taking most of the heat. It'd be interesting to see like PFF numbers tomorrow.
Yep. And even on that touch, I will say this, even on that touchdown to Zay Jones, I thought the coverage was good there. It was just a really good catch in the end zone by Zay.
Yeah. Poyer had 5 catches. Dotson had, 5 catches. I wish he had 5 catches. 5 interceptions. No, he had 5 tackles. And Dotson had 5 tackles. Dorian Williams, 5 tackles. 1 pass deflection, which I talked about earlier. Epinesa, 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, and 3 pass deflections. Dude, it's not a fluke. When you see a guy knock a ball down, you're like, that's a fluke. He got lucky. He just put his hands up. I don't know what's going on with Epinesa, but he's got some serious radar going on right now where he is seeing things or just anticipating where that ball's going. To knock that many balls down is insane, Jake.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you don't see that. Sometimes you don't see that within a full season. He did it 3 times in a game. That's crazy.
And this isn't the first game he's done it.
Right.
It's crazy. So, yeah, and then let's see here. Yeah, that's pretty much it on the stat-wise. But let's see here. Thank you, guys. Yep, we're not missing Edmonds. Instincts. Oh, here it is.
Let me say this, too. Shout out to the Jags, man. They came to play.
Yeah.
And, sure, they had a little advantage. They were there in London, but they definitely looked like the better team today. They just played better. And sometimes that is, I think the Bills, unfortunately, their offense was the story of this. They disappointed 100% on offense. And, I think the offense is going to get better. This next game, they're going to come out and prove all the haters wrong. I really believe in that. We came out injury-free on offense, so that's huge.
Yep.
The defense, the injuries are brutal. Don't get me wrong, but, we'll find a way. That D-line is still balling out, and as long as you have a good pass rush, man, you can get away with some things. So I think that's the confidence you could take away still. We should be getting Christian Benford back. We should be getting Greg Rousseau back, too, and Von Miller. The snap count's only going to go up.
Go up.
We still got some dogs on this defense, even with the loss of Matt Milano.
I want all of you
Daquan.
I want you all to come back and give me a hard time if we're not 7-3 after 10 games. I really see the Bills at 7-3 at 10 games. At that time, after 10 games, if we're not there, come on this channel, say, Mike, what the heck were you smoking? What meds are you on? Blah, blah, blah. But I truly believe, look at the schedule. Jake, bring up the schedule real quick. Let's bring it up just for the folks. Let's talk about the schedule, upcoming schedule. Let's put some positivity in the air here.
All right. So next up, we are home against the New York Football Giants on Sunday night. And then after that, we're at New England.
Check. It's 2.
New England looked awful today, by the way.
Yes.
Then we're home Thursday night against the Buccaneers. I will be at that game, so I'll be loud and proud for that one. That's going to be fun. Me and Sean are going to that one together, Mike.
Now, the Bucs are playing pretty well. They're 3-1. Yeah. Not a gimme, but it's not like they have Brady anymore. They do have some stout wide receivers. Not going to be an easy one, but, home game, true home game.
That's right.
3. Yep. I think we get 3 there, so it's 3 in a row.
Then at Cincinnati. That's a Monday night game.
That's the toss-up. Matt Chatter, you were asking us I think you were asking Jake and Timmy on Wednesday if you thought the Bengals were done, and they both responded no, and they're showing why it's a no. This is what they did last year. Slow start. They have some offensive line adjustments again this year, and here they go. They're rolling again, starting to roll. So that's a game I think, Jake, both of us predicted us a loss. But let's say we lose that one. There's our third one. We've won 3. We've now got 6 wins. And what's the next one?
Then we got Monday night at home against the Denver Broncos.
Check. So 7-3, guys. Book it now. Do not panic. This team will be back. They will make adjustments. They will find people. And, first of all, I think McDermott, I want to give him some credit. I think he's been doing pretty damn well with that defense, Jake. I mean, we were all concerned. Man, is he taking on too much? Blah, blah, blah. I know we had that question. But, dude, he's answered the bell on that, I think. I mean, what's your thoughts there?
Today they played a bend don't break defense, and I think a lot of people are very fed up with the soft zone scheme, but it does work. I mean, it definitely does. There were a lot of situations where the Jags just they would move the ball down the field, but when it came down to it, they couldn't put points on the board. And it wasn't really until the very end, until that defense was totally gassed, that Travis Etienne had a big run and they had some bigger plays. So I think the bend don't break does work. You're seeing a lot more of these corner blitzes, which I freaking love. I love the utilization of Taron Johnson, especially coming off the edge. He's fantastic at that. And by the way, thank God he's okay, because that was another one where I'm like, we cannot lose a top 3 nickel corner that happens to be playing for us. That'd just be another, just a big, big gut wrencher. So, no, I think he's done a very fine job.
And then comedian Mo Brown says, yes, give Kyer some love. We did. I mean, early on, we're saying, people are saying trade him, but who are you going to get? Who's going to trade for Kyer right now? He's, work with him. Give him a shot. You threw him into the deep end. It wasn't the best result today, but we saw some really good things last year from him. So talk to me after the next game and maybe 2 more games, and then maybe I'll be saying, all right, I'm done with him. But no, I'm not ready to give up, Jake.
I wonder too, like, how long did he know that he was going to be the actual start? I mean, you always practice like you're going to be the starter, right? You practice like you want to be prepared when you go into the game. But I am curious, like, was this Christian Benford thing a last minute thing? Did they know he wasn't going to play in this game? Was Kyer under the expectation that he was only going to be a rotational guy? And listen, again, it's not a good mentality to have, but I'm sure there is some effect mentally with that too.
Yeah. And by the way, you already said congrats to the Jaguars. We do have other fans coming to this channel. Yeah. We welcome them all. And I do want to say congratulations. Your team deserved the win. You were the better team today. We're just giving you reasons why our Bills lost, but
Calvin Ridley, man,
to you. Yeah,
he is back. He is all the way back. Let me tell you,
that's dangerous. And Trevor Lawrence. I mean, it's big like Josh Allen. He can run. I mean, he's got everything you need, and he's been, lighting it up since what they showed a stat or something like they've been like 10-5 since some point last year. Now they're 11-5 since whatever it was. I think they were struggling, and then some big win happened for them, and they just went on a roll. And they continue. I don't know, but Allen eats a bag of edibles every 3 games before a game. I have to accept that.
That's funny. Yeah, what is it? Every 3 games he has a stinker in there. So yeah, maybe this is it. Now it's another 3-game stint, right?
Yeah, who will start against the Bills next week? Taylor or Daniel? Is there something going on?
Daniel Jones went out today in the game against the Miami Dolphins. I don't actually know what it was, but I know
Tyrod
had to come in. Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, interesting.
Would be interesting. I don't know what the update is on that just yet.
Yeah. Looks like Tyrod at the moment. And then they're right. Bengals firing up. Yeah, the Bengals are just too talented. You got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And by the way, I had Jamar Chase on my fantasy football team today, buddy.
Numbers.
Over 50 points. Come on now.
62.1 in my one league.
Ooh.
Insane. Yeah.
Incredible. Well, listen, everyone. I mean, you got a few minutes. Let us know if there's any other questions you have for Jake and I. We appreciate your support. If you're new to our channel, please like, comment, and as we always say, drop a nickel on that subscribe button. Nickel City Mafia has it going on. We have, if you're into the Sabres, I got to tell you, we got this new Sabres show, the Sabres Edge. It goes off every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We also have this amazing AFC East Summit show with guys like Keith, who's out in the channel right now, coming out there, not really digging it. He's a Dolphin fan, but he's the coolest Dolphin fan I've ever met. 100%. I mean, he's still like, look, until we knock off the Bills, until we get that first seed, the Bills are the king. Yeah, the Dolphins are in first place right now, but that means nothing until they finish in first place at the end of the year. So let's see how that goes. And don't forget, the Bills close out the season against the Dolphins. And that game will probably be for the division, Jake. Woo. Right? So, again, we have some other great shows, too. We have fantasy football during the week. Usually switches around. Sometimes it's Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Because remember, all of us here in Nickel City Mafia have other jobs. So we have to change schedules around a little bit. But some of the best fantasy football guys out there, Chris and Jeremy, they play every type of league. They will answer every question live that you bring to them. So check them out. And of course, join our Discord, Jake. Why aren't people not joining our Discord? We love to chat it up in the Discord. We talk all week long about everything. So the link's in the description. Join the Discord. Love to see you there. Let's see what else we got here. We got any questions that came in? I hope we gave enough time for everyone.
Neck injury, by the way, for Daniel Jones. So my dad's saying that too.
Okay.
Neck injury. Yep.
Matt Chatter, yeah, you can face humanity tomorrow. There is tomorrow, and we've seen this before. We've seen this before. And my dad called me, and he's like, man, I was starting to let my guard down. Because my dad and I, look, we've been watching the Bills. Like, shoot, I was 4 years old, so 1970. That's when I can remember starting to watch the Bills. My dad before me, he actually went to the old stadium in the 60s and saw some football games. What they call that? The rock pile. Rock pile. And we've been through some big losses, some heartbreakers. And he's like, I was almost let my guard down this last 2 weeks. I was like, man, I'm going to start believing in this team. But then he said, I put my shield up real quick after this game because I don't want to be heartbroken. But listen, this team is good. I still think losing these players are big, but I still think this offense is better than it's been in the last few years. I think it is a top-notch offense. Offensive line's fantastic. Defense, you could say they took a notch down with those injuries, but I believe in them, man. And all they got to do is make a few stops a game and get this offense cooking. And we winning by scoring points. That's the crazy thing, Jake. We're like, we got to get Josh Allen help. We got to get him, because we got to score numbers. We can't lose like we did against the Bengals in the playoffs where we scored. What was the score in that playoff game? Something ridiculous.
Yeah, 27-10, I think it was.
Yeah.
Like
but guys, trust me, 7-3. Mark it now. Mike said 7-3 at 7:17 Pacific time or 10:17 Eastern on October 8th.
That's right. I'm with you, Mike. I'm with you.
So we didn't even get into the drinks that we offer on this show. We didn't talk about wings because we had to get right into it. I am on a snap count, so I got to get going. The meds have helped me through this, so I appreciate all of you. Timmy, thanks again for filling in for me. Always appreciate that. Looking forward to your show on Tuesday. Jake, closing thoughts, buddy.
Hey, listen, take this 24-hour rule, right? Yep. 24 hours, you're allowed to grieve. You're allowed to be upset, allowed to be pissed off as hell. I know I am. I'm still a little salty about the whole thing. It definitely sets your tone for the week, as a Bills fan, when you win and lose, and when you lose, it stings a little bit more. And it's going to be hard because now we got to wait all the way until Sunday night. But a lot of positives to look forward to. We have some guys coming back. There were a lot of really tough injuries today. But, shoot, this offense, they can get rolling again. Josh Allen's still our QB. And listen, he may have not had his best day either, but we will live to see another big game like we did last week. Again, this Sunday, hopefully, against the Giants. So, listen, I got nothing but confidence in this team moving forward. Obviously, very disappointed with this one, but even so, still a one-score game.
Yeah, well said, Jake. All right, everyone, that kind of does it. We'll see you. Jake and I will be back Wednesday night. We do our Wednesday and Sunday show. So Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern is when you'll see us. Sometimes you'll see Jake on the AFC East Summit, which is on Tuesdays. I don't know when he's planning to show up next, but hopefully soon. Does a great job there. But we'll see you. Take care, everyone. Join the Discord. We can talk about it and help you through, these losses in the Discord. Take care, everyone. Go Bills.
Go Bills.